I usually go through with my color analysis clients during a Zoom appointment once we know their color analysis results. I've already created the hair and makeup videos. If you've missed those, go back and watch my TikTok, or they're also on my YouTube in a playlist. Given my limited availability for Zoom appointments, and if you missed the announcement from a day or two ago, if you were hoping to get color analyzed by me, please join the wait list. But anyways, given my limited availability to have Zoom appointments, I thought I would further expand on my additional resources for those who aren't able to secure a Zoom appointment. I'm going to be creating a few videos over the next little while that goes through some conversations that I typically have with my Zoom clients. In this video, I'm going to be covering off the immediate conversation once we know their color analysis results. To illustrate this conversation, I'm going to be using a warm and a cool palette as samples, and then you can apply this conversation to your color analysis references that you would have received. Color references are just guides. It is impossible to fill a color reference with every possible color in terms of undertone, value, and intensity you could ever experience in a store for a palette. And so the way to use a color reference would be to hold up whatever you're contemplating purchasing to your color references. It could be a reference on your phone that I gave you. It could be a printed color strip, or even a wallet. If you hold the item up to the color area of whatever reference you're using and ask yourself if it looks like it's in the same family of colors or close to the color, usually in your mind, you'll be able to resolve if something's in or not in a palette. Everyone who receives a digital color reference from me will get a file that includes text references. I am not a fan whatsoever of people using text references, because if you were to type the word purple shadow into a search engine, you're going to receive a million different visuals of different purples on your screen. I highly suggest using color references as visual references. If you're in one of the cool undertone seasons, there will be a yellow option in your palette, but I highly suggest wearing it sparingly, if at all. When I think of the word yellow, I don't exactly think of the word cool. If you have a cool undertone, I would never suggest wearing yellow as eye makeup. Perhaps consider just wearing it as a small accent, or perhaps it's a small detail in a pattern. Your digital color references from me will include a section called 5 Key Colors. These are really considered staples to have in your wardrobe for your palette. Each palette reference would have this section, but what would vary is the colors listed within the section. Your reference will also have this image section that would be applicable for your particular color palette, and these would contain words that perhaps from a psychology standpoint you may resonate with and want to consider incorporating in your look. The only color analysis palette that has a true black in it is the True Winter palette, and so I'm usually having, and including with True Winters, I'm usually having a conversation about alternates to black. If you're somebody on the fully cool undertone side, like True Summer, Cool Winter, Cool Summer, and True Winter, I'm usually suggesting the deeper navy in your palette and the more graphite zinc alternatives. And in the True Summer palette, there's also taupe alternatives. And then if you're in the True Spring, True Autumn, Warm Autumn, or Warm Spring palette, I'm usually suggesting the deeper brown and the navy options in your palettes as alternates. Now let's say you're one of the neutral range palettes where you have a mix of warm and cool coloring in your coloring. Your references would have one of the options, or at least a few of the options I just said, and so apply what I just said to the brown, navy, and perhaps gray for some palette options in your palette. There's my general orientation on color references. Stay tuned. I'm going to be covering off different fabrics for you to consider based on your color palette, different sort of color blocking looks based on the intensity of your palette, etc. So more to come.